Why is it that Ashland City, Tennessee gets 8,100 searches a month on Google, but there's very little information about it for you to check out? That's what we're going to talk about today. Why is everybody checking out Ashland City, Tennessee, and is it a place you ought to take a look at? It's in Cheatham County. It's near Davidson County. It's near Nashville. You want to know more about it? Stick with me. Hey, I'm really glad you stuck around because for years I have been saying I don't quite understand why Cheatham County and Ashland City in particular, because it's very close to Nashville, I don't understand why that county really hasn't exploded. So I think it's on the cusp of doing that. So if you are looking for a home here in the Nashville, Tennessee area, moving to this area, or an investor looking for good property in this Middle Tennessee area, because we all know how much it is growing and is the center of so much good things happening in the country today. We all know about that. So if you're an investor, this might be a good spot for you to take a look at as well. Ashland City itself is in Cheatham County. Now, it's only about a 20-minute drive from downtown Nashville, around the Metro Center area, but it's a big county. And it's one of those counties that people just don't really think of. I don't know why. Cumberland River runs through it. Beautiful countryside, wide open spaces. If you want the breathing room, but close proximity, and I know I've said that a lot of times, but I mean really some breathing room. I'm getting ready to go show a piece of property today that's 10 acres with a nice house on it. And about 20 minutes from downtown Nashville, under $500,000. Now, you can't get that in Williamson County, in Davidson County. If you ask me, there's not a shot that you're getting that. So if those are some of the things you want, then you need to listen to some of the thoughts of what's going on. And I'll also give you some pros and cons about Cheatham County, Ashland City, and many things around in that little area. And thank you for clicking on this channel. I'm Susan Thetford with the Nashville Redefined Group and Parks Properties. I've been a native Nashvillian. I am a native Nashvillian. Been here all my life, raised my children here. I'm excited to share everything about Nashville, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm getting lots of calls and emails from people asking all kinds of questions. I love it. I want you to do exactly the same thing. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to answer any of your questions that you have about living, breathing, loving Middle Tennessee. So as I said, Ashland City is located in Cheatham County and has a population of, get this, 4,680. Now that says of 2019, and I'm sure it's up above that. But that's a little community. It has the small town charm and unmatched beauty of our Middle Tennessee area. It's a quiet town. Now, one of the cons about it is there's very little diversity. Whether that's a pro, whether that's a con, it's a fact. There's very little diversity of an area. And I'm never going to sugarcoat an area. It is what it is. And I want you to know so you have at least somewhat of an understanding. It is also very close to Clarksville. So many who don't want to live on base at Clarksville are moving down to get, again, more breathing room, more space, and more of the pretty rolling countryside that Cheatham County area by the Cumberland River can offer. What is there to do in Ashland City? Well, as I say, it's a small town, 4,680 people, and some of those are children. Lots of those are children, by the way. So it's a small town. It's not one of those thriving metropolises, but you're close to Nashville, so you can get to any of the things that you want to do. But you'll find the farmers markets. You'll find one of the prettiest areas that I know of is called Penuel Ridge Retreat. So it's a great place for a group of 2 to 18 of you, maybe family reunions, to get together for a long weekend, hike, bird watch, look at some of the beautiful nature. Get away from it all is that beautiful Penuel Retreat. Also, there's a birdsong retreat area. There's not a lot of organized children's sports kind of things to do. There's not a big event center, that type of thing. But again, you're not far from that. And you're not paying for that by being in that community. So, whether that's a pro or a con, I don't know. I'm sure, or I hope, you check out niche.com to kind of get a rating of where different websites show different cities. Now, niche.com gave an overall grade of B- on the niche.com for Ashland City. I'm looking at this. They gave it a B+ for crime and safety. They gave it a C+ for nightlife. I might even give it a C because there's no nightlife. It's dark, beautiful, starry skies. Probably everything shuts down except for the hospital. But so there's no nightlife. It gives it a B for diversity. Okay. A B- for weather. Nashville weather is great. What are they talking about? B- for housing. B- for families. Cost of living, it gives it a B+. And I do too. It is very, very affordable for being as close as it is to downtown Nashville and all the things that people want to be in Nashville for. Gives it a C+ for outdoor activities because, as I say, it's not a lot of organized things. It is outdoor nature. And frankly, there are a lot of farms. If you work on a farm or if you know anything about a farm, there's not a lot of spare time. You are feeding the cattle, working the horses, you're mending fences, you're doing work things. So that's your outdoor life in many ways. So there's not a lot of outdoor activity that if you want to find organized activity. Health and fitness, they give it a C. I have no earthly idea why. Because if you're out in nature and you're working around or you're hiking, you're seeing things, you're breathing, that's the healthy. So I don't know why they gave it that because there is a good hospital. One of my best friends is a pharmacist there. Good little hospital there. That gives it a C+ for commute. Now, I think the reason is that it's not far from downtown Nashville, as I say, but it also depends on what part of Cheatham County you live in. It's a big county. So if you're far, far west in the county and you're on some of the county roads, to get to a main road to get to downtown could be difficult. So I think that's why they gave it a C+ for the commute, because depending on where you are in the county, it's not a bad commute in most areas. And one of the things I'm always asked about is crime and safety and the schools. As you know, or you now know, we realtors cannot say a school is good, a school is bad. There's high crime here, there's not crime here. We can't say any of that. What we can do is lead you to the places for you to do all of your own research. Because heck, what I think is high crime may not be what you think is high crime. So crime and safety niche.com gave it a B+ in Ashland City. And they gave it a C+ for the public schools. Now, I would suggest you go to greatschools.com, check it out for yourself. The little elementary school is adorable. It's small. It's a community. The teachers know each other. You've got teachers who've been there for 20 years. You might have even found a teacher who was your third grade teacher, who is now your children's teacher. I kind of like that thing. So, again, that's up to you. But that's the type of town this is. And that may be your type of town. Okay, so I've taken some notes for people who are newcomers or have been in Ashland City for a long, long time. I've taken some notes on what they say are the pros and cons. So this isn't me speaking. This is those who live there. A pro, the natural beauty. It's close to Nashville, close to Clarksville, close to all the nightlife things you might want to do. A con? The mayor seems to be pushing a lot of industry and affordable housing into what is now a very quiet town. A pro, the natural experience of the River Bluff area and the Bicentennial Bike Trail is wonderful. A con, the growth is suddenly fast and overwhelming our infrastructure a little bit. There's not a lot of retail, and there's not a lot of retail, but it's close to Nashville and Clarksville. So I'm about to go show a home. That home happens to be a mile away from the Dollar General store. There are lots of I think six smaller grocery stores, but you're not going to find in Ashland City a Whole Foods or some of the health food type places. You're not going to find a lot of health food restaurants that some people coming from other areas are looking for. You're going to find that not terribly far, but you're not going to find that in Ashland City. Ashland City is going to be more of the less chains and more family-owned restaurants and more of a meat and three type thing than, whole organic farm to table kind of restaurants. And I'll say that anytime you find rapid, abundant growth, and an infrastructure is not ready for it because it just suddenly happens. And that's what's gone on to Middle Tennessee in a lot of areas. And we are built on rock. One of the things that makes it difficult, we certainly don't have any underground transportation, rapid transit in Nashville anywhere. We're built on a bedrock of rock. And so it's so cost prohibitive. But there certainly isn't that Ashland City. There's not even buses that go all the way out to Ashland City. So you absolutely do need a car unless you get to work from home and, I don't know, want to ride your horse. A pro. Ashland City is such a relaxing place to live, and it's beautiful outdoor. It's very natural, very quiet. I can see the stars. I can hear the bullfrogs. I've missed that living in the city. That is a massive pro for me. Another pro. You may see it as a pro. You may see it as a con. This person thought it as a pro. There's a church around every single corner, and we have a McDonald's down the street. Simple pleasures. Here's a con. There's only one decent hotel in Ashland City. Now, I think I have to argue with that a little bit, but this may be somebody who has a lot of family, because I will promise you, if you move to this area, you're going to have a lot of visitors. You're going to have so many people who want to come visit you here in Nashville. And unless you want to have guests every weekend, you might want to know where those hotels are. I can help you with that. Another pro, and this one I think is important. The police and the EMTs and the fire station are very fast responders. They do a great job in working together, and we have life flights that take us into the Nashville hospitals if need be. And unfortunately, there are sometimes some farming accidents. There's also some four-wheeling accidents, and that happens everywhere. But, you know, when you're out in farmy areas and very rural areas, people love to go out and four-wheel, and unfortunately, those accidents do happen. But it is great to see that they have great EMTs. And of course, Vanderbilt has a great life flight, as does St. Thomas. So easy access to big city medical response. But there's, as I say, a good small hospital in Ashland City. Here's a con. There's only a Walmart, 2 small grocery stores in my area, 3 convenience stores, and small pharmacies. None of them are open 24/7. These are mostly family businesses. There's no retail. You got to go to the city for anything retail. Here's a huge pro for an awful lot of people coming from a lot of places. I get asked this all the time. What is the real estate taxes? How much does the taxes cost on this particular house? And I can tell you at least 8 times out of 10 people say, no, I mean annual, not monthly. I do too when I tell them. So I've looked at a house that we are getting ready to show. I'm going to show it to you. It's priced right at $500,000. In 2020, this house's taxes were $1,607.31 annually. Yep, that's the annual. So we do have very low real estate taxes in comparison to many places that people are coming from. Now, we also have a very high sales tax that a lot of people are a little bit surprised about. It's running at 9.25%. So yeah, we have great real estate taxes when people take a look at it in comparison to some of the other areas they're coming from. So we're back. What do you think? Could Ashland City be the spot for you? Are you looking for elbow room? Do you want a place maybe to put horses? Do you want your kids to play outside all afternoon and not be in front of the TV? Could be your spot. Hey, I'm Susan Thetford with Parks Properties, and I really appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel if all things about Nashville and real estate here in the Middle Tennessee area is of interest. And if you have a place you'd like me to go or a topic you'd like me to discuss, are you worried about us being in a bubble? I've got a lot of thoughts on that, and I'm going to be talking about that next week. So go ahead. You can also check out any of these other videos are here. Lots of things for you to check into. See you soon.
Oh,